So I'm going to show you guys how to do a burble tune with HP tuners. So if you guys want to open up your engine tab and then go to your fuel and then Cutoff Defco, it might look a little different on your HP tuners just depending on which vehicle you're tuning. But this one's specific to the GM SUV GMT 900s. But basically, really what you want to focus on is your Decel fuel cutoff settings. That's kind of just this area right here. And, let me open up a stock tune. Show you guys what I changed. So obviously everything green is what I changed, but we're going to focus really just on here. The enable RPM, it's pretty self-explanatory. So above this engine speed, Defco will be allowed. So above 1,000 RPMs, Defco will be allowed. And obviously your disable is at 900. Disable rate, left that the same. Obviously that was stock. Vehicle speed and enable and disable, I changed those. So basically it allows the vehicle to be Defco all the way down to, all the way down to, 5 miles an hour first gear, second gear, everything's from 10. And you can kind of see the difference was, I dropped it 12 miles an hour to 11. That was the stock. Cylinder air mass, you're going to want to modify that. I found that at lower altitudes, certain gears would not go into Defco because of the cylinder air mass. The density was higher at lower altitude, so it wasn't allowing it. But at higher altitude, I noticed in the same conditions, at the same RPM, same gear, it would allow it to go in Defco. And Defco really is just for the trucks. Well, when the 6L80s, for my example, is it locks the converter, so it will actually slow the vehicle down without having to use the brake pedal. Your throttle enable. What did I change on this one? I actually don't remember. So just your enable throttle position sensor. It was at, so I increased that. So it will enable at 0.5 instead of 0.1. Defco entry spark. So really what this means is once your engine is no longer in the run table, which is a different table all in general. So that's your general spark run table. So you're going to have two things really here. You're going to have a blend time, and then you're going to have the Defco entry spark. So you want your spark to be negative. I have it negative 10 degrees, and then it drops down to negative 8. So that timing is obviously going to contribute to the amount of burbling you're going to get, the popping. And then the blend time is the amount of crank references the computer is going to be waiting for as it's blending from the spark run to the Defco spark. So there will be a time delay. So as you let off the gas pedal, there will be a slight delay before it starts that Defco spark table or starts to blend it. If you want it to be instantaneous, that's not something I played around with, but you're going to have to mess around with the timing and the actual run tables, which is a completely different table. So really that's what this means here. The entry spark, you're going to want to blend that to your liking. I don't think you want to go much higher than negative 10. I think negative 5, 10 I had good results with. I just left it at 10, haven't changed it. Defco exit spark, basically it's the same thing, just in reverse. It's when you're exiting that table. So it's going to want to know what throttle position and how many blind crank references. So I have it at obviously 0% throttle position. You're going to have 200 crank references till when it comes out. And then you're going to have one crank reference to when it comes out, obviously at 1% throttle position. I believe that's actually what, because it goes all the way, it goes up 16. because you don't want it to be, you want it to go back to run table as quick as possible. You don't want to have the negative timing in your exit spark, which is about the same timing. And then your fuel cutoff delay. So your engine is still fueling while you have negative spark and it's blending. So that's kind of the whole thing it's doing here is you're allowing the engine to keep fueling. The timing is negative, and then the fuel cutoff is going to disable that. So you could technically just let this thing fuel for eternity and it just burble for however long you're decelerating for. But eventually, what I have is it does defuel and it turns it off because you're really not if you keep fueling, the decel effect is not going to be as effective until the fuel is completely cut. So really, we have delay crank references, and obviously it scales up given the RPMs. And I just kind of just added 50. It was sort of arbitrary in how I added it, but in general, that is how you do a burble tune. Now, you've had other people say just completely disable decel fuel cutoff. I've never tried it, so I can't tell you if it works or not. I just know for a fact this is the only thing you really need to mess with. Cool, thanks for watching.